friends, welcome back. Today we're talking about solving absolute value equations, and you're going to want to grab your notebook, write these notes down so that you can have some help when you're working on your work later. Okay, for our first example here, we have the absolute value of 7 plus 3b equals 8. And notice those absolute value signs. I like to try and make them a little bit larger than the lined paper just so that it doesn't look like a 1. When I see those absolute value symbols, what I remember is, oh, this is going to be two equations. We learned in the previous lesson that absolute value is how far something is from 0. So we've got the negative side and we have the positive side. So here's what I do. I see these absolute value and that the absolute value signs, and that reminds me, hey, draw two arrows because I'm going to have two equations. The first equation is exactly as you see it. 7 plus 3b equals 8. Our second equation, so that's from our positive side. Our second equation is, we do the same thing here, 7 plus 3b equals, but now we've got to do the negative side. So we say negative 8, okay? Now we got to solve those equations. Negative 7. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. That gives me 3b equals 1. Divide both sides by 3, and I get b equals 1/3. Okay, on this side, let's go ahead and subtract 7 from both sides. And we get 3b equals negative 8, and negative 7 is going to give me negative 15. Divide both sides by 3, and we get b equals negative divided by a positive is a negative. Get negative 5. Now, the deal with absolute value equations is you always have to go back and check your answers because sometimes you'll get an extraneous solution, meaning it's a solution that doesn't work. So right now, these are just potential solutions. So we go back and we look, okay, let's plug this in. We have 7 plus 3, and instead of b, we're going to put 1/3 in here. Equals 8. All right, so now what we have to do is 7 plus 3 times 1/3. A little bit of side work here. 3 over 1 times 1 over 3 will give me 3 over 3, which equals 1, right? So we have the absolute value of 7 plus 1 equals 8. The absolute value of 8 equals 8. Is that statement true? Absolutely it is. So we have checked our work and it works just fine. Now we have to do the other one. We've got negative 5. So we're going to say 7 plus 3 times negative 5 equals 8. 3 times negative 5 is going to be negative 15. So plus negative 15 equals 8. 7 plus negative 15 is negative 8. So the absolute value of negative 8 equals 8. And the absolute value of negative 8, it's 8 spots away from 0. So 8 equals 8. That statement is true. So that one also works. So both of these potential solutions are actual solutions. They do work. All right, let's talk about this. For our second example here, you got to be careful. Before you go drawing your two equations, you have to isolate your absolute value, meaning I need to get it by itself. So here's my absolute value chunk right here. I need to get by itself. I'm currently adding 5. I'm going to minus 5 from both sides. So this gives me the absolute value of 2 minus b equals 12. 2 minus b equals 12. Now that that is isolated, I can draw my two arrows like this and like that. This tells me I have two equations. First one is just as we see it, 2 minus b equals 12. The second one is 2 minus b equals negative 12 because I need that negative side. All right, so to solve this equation, I'm going to minus 2 from both sides. Be careful there. You'll see that there's a minus in between there. Don't be tricked and add 2. We always do the operation that's in front of the number. So minus 2 from both sides gives me negative b, so don't forget to bring down that sign, equals 10. Divide both sides by negative 1, and I get b equals negative 10. All right, minus 2, I get negative b equals negative 14. Divide both sides by negative 1. I get b equals positive 14. All right, it's time for us to go back to our original equation and check that. So negative 10, let's go back up here and check. We've got 2 minus negative 10 plus 5 equals 17. All right, 2 minus negative 10 is add the opposite. We get the absolute value of 12 plus 5 equals 17. The absolute value of 12 is 12, so we get 12 plus 5 equals 17. 17 equals 17. This works. Excellent. Our next one is 14. So we say, okay, absolute value of 2 minus 14 plus 5 equals 17. All right, add the opposite in here. I think that's a little easier. We get absolute value of negative 12 plus 5 equals positive 17. The absolute value of negative 12 is positive 12 plus 5 equals 17. 17 equals 17. This is correct. Excellent job. If you have any questions, let your teacher know. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.